Welcome back to another episode of the OKC Redcast. I'm Tyler Vaughn.
And I'm Allan Langston. And we're here to bring you a one-loss perspective on Manchester United.
Is that
Don't
good?
Freak out. It's just one.
Is that good? Yeah, is that bad? Is that optimistic or is that pessimistic, Allan?
I think it's realistic.
Realistic.
I'm just trying to be realistic about it. We shouldn't be flipping out.
Very good. I like that. Get some perspective this time around. Well, Allan, we're joined by a couple of guests today. First time guests of the pod making their debut on the Redcast. It's Ben Shoulders and Carson Cunningham. What's up, fellas? Appreciate y'all jumping on.
Having me on.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Carson. Before we jump into talking about the team, since you guys haven't been on before, we always like to kind of introduce our guests and get to know them. And everyone has their own unique United story and why they started following the club and what they love about it. So let's just go alphabetically, starting with Ben. And Ben, kind of tell us your story, how you became a supporter, your background with the sport. We'll go from there.
Yeah, of course, played as a kid, as most of us probably did. Played a lot of indoor and everything. Before we moved, it's like once we moved out to the sticks, there wasn't anything. So I played when we lived here in the city, and then so I got cut short real early by like 10, and that was like the end of my soccer days until later. Picked up indoor again in my 30s. And then promptly had a complete tear of my right ACL in an indoor game and never played again. So that's the end of that. But I got, I think I really got into United in my early college years, and that would have been the Beckham days and everything. So he's really the guy that pulled me in. It's like I just really loved watching him play. He's the dude is so precise and doesn't miss a pass ever, from anywhere on the pitch. Just drills a guy from all the way across, and it's amazing. And I just love it. And that became my big thing.
Any Beckham highlights, goals, assists, anything that stands out in your mind as being
not like right off the top at all, as I think about him, and then I just see one pass after another in my head, and I'm like, all of those make sense. And then I watched him in the Legends game the other day, and he was still doing it. And I was like, that's amazing. That's incredible.
No doubt about it. Yeah. Well, Ben, you don't always get to join us at games at Skinny's, but I know you're always watching. So what's a typical match day look like for you?
Usually here in this seat, which is my PC here in my office. I've got multiple screens in front of me and everything. And a lot of my friends that I'm real close with and watch soccer and everything don't live here in Oklahoma City. So we all get on Discord and we stream all the games to each other on there. And so we can watch multiple games because Discord can hold like 4 screens in it or whatever, and then your own. So we'll just stream a whole set of games and we all just sit in there and watch them all.
Okay,
so
nice.
That's kind of cool.
It's real cool. Yeah, it's chill, and that's why you guys never get me at Skinny's, because I'm at home with my friends in my chair drinking coffee on Discord. There
are like 4 TVs at Skinny's. They're not always all in sync or working, but there are at least multiple screens there.
Yeah, that's true. This is a lot quieter and a lot more chill.
Right on.
I have more alcohol than Skinny's does, so it's
fair enough. Carson, tell us about your story, man.
Yeah, I mean, as Tyler knows, maybe your listeners don't. I mean, I was a soccer player, played for the same club team you did, just an older age group, Royals 85. And
Royals.
Really, my Man U fandom. So obviously I played and just lived and breathed soccer growing up. That was like my thing. I just was obsessed. And when I didn't start playing soccer till about 8, which is kind of late for most kids that grow up playing it their whole lives. And so I kind of came into it blind, and I distinctly remember, back in the day, back in the early 90s, we didn't have nearly as much coverage at all, really. The only coverage of the English Premier League I saw was this Sunday show on Fox Sports with Lionel Bienvenu, who was the host. I'll always remember that host. And I just kept seeing this team that was wearing red and black, which I always thought was like the coolest uniform combination, just scoring a ton of goals and being at the top of the charts. And they had this guy who looked like a Bond villain wearing number 7. And he just looked different, played different, had more panache than any player I'd ever seen before. And his name was Eric Cantona. And he popped his collar. And I distinctly remember popping my collar. My coach would come over and pull it down. I was like, no. We're doing what that guy does because I want to be like him. And so it kind of just grew from there. Back in FIFA 95 on Sega, before they even had the real players, I was always Manchester United. And I kind of just became obsessed. And it's very unlike me because, they were clearly the cream of the crop in the Premier League back then. But I grew up an Oklahoma State fan, which you're used to. I hated the New York Yankees. So it's like the only team I've ever supported that people call me a fair weather fan or can. And so it grew from there. And I've always just had this deep fandom of them from a very young age that I love all the things about the club, which I'm sure we'll discuss. And it started with Eric Cantona in my home in Edmond, Oklahoma, just waiting for Sunday afternoon to watch that show.
Yeah.
Carson, is Eric your favorite player all time?
Well, it's kind of like, there's eras. I was so young then. I didn't get to watch him as much because he wasn't on TV as much. And there's just kind of eras. Obviously I'm like Ben where, Beckham caught my eye. Beckham himself has eras. When he was wearing number 24 is when I first, really grew to appreciate him. But I think my absolute favorite players would be Eric Cantona when I was, 8, 9, 10. And then really Ruud van Nistelrooy was my guy. That was, people don't remember the how prolific he was. He was Erling Haaland before, you see every kid in grade school now wearing a Haaland jersey from Man City. Like, that was Ruud. His goals per game average, I looked it up. He's like 0.68. He's in the top 10 of all time in the Premier League in goals scored and has played like a third of the games as the other contemporaries in the top 10. He was special. And really, that was kind of the peak of my fandom was kind of 03, 04 when I was graduating high school, going into college. That's like when you're just living and dying. I distinctly remember following the Ronaldinho transfer saga that summer every single day. And my club teammates would come up to me because they knew I was following this every single minute. And I was convinced we were getting Ronaldinho that summer. And so probably Ruud van Nistelrooy. And I played goalkeeper as well, so I'd have to mention Schmeichel and Van der Sar as well. But mainly Cantona and Schmeichel initially, and then Ruud was my guy.
Ben, is Beckham yours, or do you have a different one?
Yeah, it's Beck for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Good
Carson,
shout.
I know you're a girl dad now and can't make it out probably to watch as many games as you would like to. But what's your typical match day look like with the family around? If you even get to watch games.
My free time has dwindled over the years. I used to join you guys there at the pub, and that was some really great times. I have some really fond memories of doing that. But no, it's basically try to get on Peacock before the girls wake up, and then I'll have it on, and I won't be able to listen. So my pronunciations as we do this show might not be as precise as they used to be because I don't get to listen as intently as I used to. I mainly just read as much as I can when I have free time about the team and all the transfer rumors and things like that. But mainly just try to get up early, try to watch the games while I'm doing other things around the house mostly.
Right on. Well, fellas, I appreciate you sharing a bit of your United fandom story there. Let's jump into the current state of the team here. So we just suffered our first loss of the Michael Carrick era. He's gone 6-1-1 so far after a really, really solid start. But now the headlines would lead you to believe, because that's the way it works with United, is that the honeymoon's over. New manager bounces over. We're back to seeing where the real United's at. So last three results: 1-0 win at Goodison, 2-1 win against Palace, and then the loss at Newcastle. Carson, what are you thinking about the Michael Carrick era, and now we have kind of a decent sample size of the results?
Yeah, I'm very torn because he really has provided stability and has gotten results, right? And that's been the main challenge. It's felt like any time this club has gotten momentum since Sir Alex, you've just been waiting for the rug to be pulled out from under them. And of course, I wanted Ruben to work.
Yeah, Allan, you want to jump
Allan
on
this time? It's amazing.
It wasn't me last
Can you
time
guys
either.
hear me now?
Their server kicked me out.
Yeah,
actually.
it was something with the.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Maybe
Actually,
go
it
to
wasn't
bed
my
if you
fault.
can't hear me.
We have had a pod where it was my fault, but this one was not. That one was not. Man, I think if you just look at the win rate, it's hard not to still be pretty satisfied with what Carrick's done and impressed. And I don't think one loss should necessarily.
Like, it looks good on paper, right? But if you've been watching, or if you drill down into everything and you see how many times we've won games where it was against 10 guys, like how many 10-man games have we had already? 3,
Right.
4?
Yeah.
Like, we've got
Several.
lucky. So we're overperforming a little bit, right?
Carson, I think we lost most of your insight there, unfortunately. If you want to,
sorry about that.
No, you're good. I just want to make sure because it may upload fine on your end. I don't know what'll happen here, but just curious. I mean, are you satisfied with the way things have gone so far?
I mean, Carrick's gotten results, and I certainly appreciate that. But I think we can all agree that this club has much higher sights and expectations, and the overall performances are not up to standard of Manchester United. They haven't been before him. I'm glad he's getting results. And I think the main issue is I think he's coming on the heels of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the great job he did. He got the full-time role, and we all know how that played out. I think this club needs to go out and get the best manager possible. I use this analogy in other sports. You know, people in Oklahoma State, I do an Oklahoma State podcast for Pistols Firing. People always want to hire a former player or a former, someone with a connection to the school/club. And I've always said, no, you go hire the best coach who can take you to the highest heights. And while I appreciate Michael Carrick, I haven't seen him really put his thumbprint on the squad in terms of our style of play, the level of attack that is needed for Manchester United. So I think he's done a great job in the interim, but I certainly am not, pinning my hopes on Michael Carrick being the full-time manager.
Yeah. We're definitely going to talk about coaching candidates in a minute, but I think we know where you stand in terms of Carrick. I think a lot of people are happy with what he's done, and when we're happy with Ollie Ball, and kind of think we can get back to those days again. But it seems to be, at least among a lot of the talking heads, and a lot of the United former players seem to say that the same thing about go and get the best available, which I'm not even sure who that is. I go back and forth on that all the time. But Ben, what do you think about Michael Carrick so far? Are you satisfied? Do you want to see more Carrick? Or you think that we've seen enough so far and we should look elsewhere?
I like the guy, and I like the respect he's obviously has from the players and stuff, right? Because we've heard a lot about the back room and how all the vets like him and how the guys in the team are into him. But is he the right dude? I mean, we're winning games with like run hard and run straight. Like you can tell there's no tactics in this whatsoever. Like there's no intricacies. There's no anything to this. The guys are just literally out there running straight lines and running harder than everyone else, which that's cool. Great, you're motivated. They didn't look motivated under the last 2 to 3 guys we've watched, right? Just bummer games where they look like they have no energy and they're not trying. But we're seeing that already towards the end of this run, right? Like the last 2 to 3 games, no effort. We're looking like we were again. And people are like, well, maybe they're tired. And I'm like, we're playing 1 game a week. Maybe we're not.
Yeah, it's the same old story about us struggling with the ball. When teams give us all the possession, we don't know what to do with it. We're a lot better when teams keep the ball and we have the chance to counter.
Right. We play a great counter, right? Because we're running hard and running straight lines. So we're running. And
it helps the Carrick simplify things and not trying to play the wing backs in a formation that no one could seem to fully understand.
That was never going to work with who we had.
But
our
to be fair,
we don't have not the guys for that.
And we don't have the wingers anymore. We got rid of all the ringers, so we're not really in a position to play with a whole lot of width anyway.
Right,
Cunha's doing the best he can.
He's not built for that.
And we mostly just have two. We just have 2, right wingers. That's it. We don't have the left wingers anymore.
I mean, Dorgu can do it, ish. Like he looked well in the spot, right, while he was there pre-injury. Just because
he looked well, he transformed
right
into
Allan
Dorgu.
Right. He's got the speed to make that outside run and get to the end line, right? And some guys just don't have that. You see, Cunha doesn't have it. It's watching him try to dribble anybody is like watching somebody in molasses. I'm like, the guy's so slow, and then he just loses the ball as soon as he tries to dribble by some anybody.
Yeah. I feel like he gets by people quite a bit.
Sometimes.
Doesn't that tell the whole story though of where we're at in terms of with Michael Carrick as the manager? That we're comparing ourselves to a team that. I always throw Wigan as to me the team that would sit back and counterattack, right? That's where we're at now, where we don't even want the ball. We want to just play defense and try to counter. That's what teams who are fighting relegation set out to do. That to me explains everywhere where we're at right now with this club and this
tactics
and players. Yeah, we used to be going up head to head with the best Barcelona teams of all time in the Champions League. That's where we used to be.
Right.
And I think if you really want Michael Carrick as the manager, I think you have to take a step back and remember what this club is all about. And that's what we're about, is having Ballon d'Or winners to Allan calling Ballon d'Or goo. Like I was just reading about the club, kind of refreshing before we got here. I had forgotten how many, George Best, Sir Bobby Charlton, like we had Ballon d'Or winners just all the time. That was just like the standard.
We're not,
and so
or at least getting votes.
Yeah.
We're not even getting votes anymore.
No,
right. It's just been so long since
Not
we've
even
been
close.
to what we're supposed to be that like our expectations have shifted for anyone to suggest that Michael, like if Michael Carrick was a free agent right now, what clubs would sign him to be their manager? I mean, I think you wouldn't be teams atop the leagues.
He'd be a good pick to take over at Wrexham when they get rid of Phil.
A mid-table, I bet just on what he's done, and I'm not advocating for him to take the United job. I'm just trying to give some credit where I think it's due for him. But I think there are some mid-table to lower league Premier League teams that absolutely would give him a chance, just like Leicester did with Rude
Spurs.
after his stint. Yeah, Spurs, exactly. They probably would.
Go home.
They probably would.
Spurs.
Don't put that on him.
Perfect fit.
No one wants that about him. He did play there, so maybe there is a connection. Yeah, maybe he'd go back to his old club.
But yeah, I think some teams definitely would probably give him a shot. But I'm with Carson. I want the best one. We're Man United. We should be going after the best of the best, and they should hire the best manager. My worry is,
Who is
Ineos, right? Who is that? And Ineos hasn't gotten it right yet. They kept Ten Hag. They shouldn't have, and then they went and got Amram, and that was a disaster. So here we are again. What they have gotten right, and the reason we're even in Champions League spots right now, is they've gotten the player recruiting correct, which has been a disaster over the last 15 years. So at least they're correcting that. So I have a little bit of faith there. But this is third time's a charm for them with the manager. So they need to get it right this time.
And to Alan's point, that is like, it's not rocket. Like what Sir Alex did was not rocket science. If you go back and look at his signings, what did he do for the most part? Clearly, he picked Cristiano out of an exhibition match in which he looked like an alien and was just doing freaky things. But like, just go back and look at the play. He would just sign guys who had proven it in the EPL at other clubs that were lesser. Like, you just go on down the list. Most of his signings were guys who had proven themselves and had success in the Premier League. Not projects, not guys playing in Italy or Germany and France and trying to learn he would just go pick the best players on those mid-tier teams that Allan was referencing. And so that's what I loved about these. That's what I loved about these signings with Cunha and Bueno. Like just go get the guys who are doing it.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science.
You don't need to wait for a guy to settle. You don't need a season to settle into the league. Like that's just a waste of time. If we're taking a full season for a guy that needs to acclimate to the Premier League, it's like, what are we doing? There's plenty of guys in the Premier League. It's the best league in the world. Go shopping at a lower level club and go get some guys that can jump in and make an impact immediately. Because Cunha and Mbeumo are no brainers. I think everyone thought they were going to be great signings, and they've proven to be. And it's obvious. I still don't understand why we go out there and waste time with players from leagues that are not even close to the Premier League standards.
Dorgu's a good example of that, right? Look how long it took Dorgu to get settled. Like, he's coming from just a completely different place.
Yeah, 100%. Full year. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
Sesko took 6 months, so yeah, it takes a little while.
Right. That kid's going to be good, though.
I agree.
Sesko's a good buy, but maybe he wasn't a good buy as the starter. It's like the whole idea of dumping the big money on the young kid and going, he's our number one guy. And it's like, maybe that's not
always
smart.
risky with the striker. Not everyone's going to be Erling Haaland. Most strikers don't hit their prime, their peak until their mid to late 20s. So it's always a gamble. It'd be nice to have somebody that could kind of guide him a bit. And I guess Berbatov's been around, kind of hanging out and helping him a little bit, which is nice, But it'd be good if you had a senior striker to learn a little bit from. But
for sure,
regardless, I mean, we're with 9 games to go. We're third in the league, which I don't think any of us probably would have thought that would be the case a couple months ago. 51 points now, level with Villa, level on points and goal differential, but ahead on goals scored, which I learned for sure is the next tiebreaker. So it is very tight right now. We're the second best team this calendar year behind Arsenal. So whatever Carrick's doing, it's working. For now, I guess.
We hope.
I will say also in Carrick's favor is I think what he's doing that Sir Alex kind of did is he's just keeping it simple, like Carson said, and putting players in their best positions. Mm-hmm. He's not overcomplicating it, and he's trying to do the best he can with the squad that he has. And I think he's just keeping it simple, and he's telling the guys, when you get in the final third, figure it out. Now, granted, against 10 men in a low block, they're not figuring it out very well, but he's still just letting them go play a bit. He's not doing the whole Amram or Guardiola, you're a robot, stay in this position, do this task or else, which I appreciate. And I think there's something to be said about that.
Yeah, and he appears to be a good man manager. It's one of those things that I think Sir Alex was always. People say, maybe he wasn't the greatest tactician all the time, or wasn't on the level of Guardiola and things in terms of tinkering. But he knew how to get the best out of his players. Everyone was different personalities, and it seems like Michael Carrick probably knows, just how to get the best out of his guys and how to manage them. But we did want to touch on the former players and the pundits, and they would leave you to believe that. Well, I don't know, Allan. We were talking about Paul Scholes' comments, his latest comments, the long list of latest comments that he's made, and the most recent one was his story about Michael has definitely got something special about him because United had been crap the last 4 games night, and then he just did Tonali Hart. I don't know. I love Paul Scholes. He's my absolute United favorite of all time. Like he's just. But him as a pundit and him always taking digs at everything happening, and it's a guy he played with. I mean, they anchored the midfield for some of the United's best years, and it blows my mind that he's always got to chime in with something negative, and I don't get it. I mean, Allan, what do you think? I know you. I think you've had it. I feel like you've had it with Paul Scholes.
I love Scholes as well, but as a pundit, I just find it weird because they wouldn't admit this stuff when Ole was in charge. Him and Roy were like Ollie's boy and would not say anything negative about it. So I just see some hypocrisy. Apparently Carrick is not Roy's, cup of tea, or maybe Scholes just knows him really well and wants to take little digs to just make a joke out of it. I don't know. But to me, it doesn't really come across that way. So I just find it odd. Like, why not have a bit more support for your former teammate and for your former club that I think Scholes supports? I know Roy has come out and said he doesn't support United, which is, we kind of all predicted. But for Scholes to come out the way he does, I don't know. It's just weird energy to me. Just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it is.
Want to have some constructive criticism instead of just throwing digs, I guess.
Right.
No, it's been weird. Like the takes before Carrick even had really gotten started, like when he won his first game or maybe his second, like Neville came out and said, I don't care if he wins the rest of the games this season, he shouldn't be it's like, well, that's an absurd opinion because if you ran the table, like who knows where they end up
right.
And I guess there's some personal stuff. Like I guess Michael Carrick's wife had tweeted about Roy Keane. Then ever since then, he's just been taking jabs at where
holding a grudge. Yep. It's not like Roy Keane at all to hold a grudge.
No.
Roy?
No, not him.
And who would have thought that Paul Scholes, the quietest, most mute player maybe in the history of international football / soccer, became a provocateur, hot take, the Stephen A. Smith of English Premier League. Like, who had that on their bingo card? But I do think Scholes, the Carrick takes are wild, but I think he actually has been a decent pundit. I think Gary Neville is like the best, color commentator you can find. He's so good at now he's like the Kirk Herbstreit for me. It's just a guy who just every time you hear him, it's like, wow, that's good opinion. I know people don't like him when he's giving his takes after games, but as far as calling a game, I think he's very excellent. But no, it's felt very personal with those guys, with Carrick.
I don't know if Carrick really cares though. I mean, he seems like he probably doesn't care as much. It wouldn't affect him, but I don't know. I could be wrong, but that doesn't help anything. I know they do it for clicks and for engagement and all those things. It's kind of part of their job, but I don't know. It's weird to me, and I don't like it. And like you said, Paul Scholes is the quietest guy ever. He never said a word during his United time. He wouldn't speak up, and now he won't shut up about the team. It's just like, man,
it's weird.
And he's not even wrong either. We haven't been great the last 4 matches.
We know.
So he's not even wrong, but it's just the way he comes across with it. And I think he's right. Tonali would be a great addition to the squad.
Yeah.
But again, it's just the way, it's not always what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah. Well, regardless of what happens the rest of the season, they're definitely going to be looking at other coaching candidates. And the short list is a little shorter than it was, this time a month ago. But I don't know. Ben, what do you think? And who would you take if Michael Carrick doesn't get the full-time job? Because there's a few guys out there.
Yeah, there's some guys out there, and I've had a hard time trying to think about who you pick, right? I mean, you've got who all's available right now?
Nagelsmann's probably going to be available. Pochettino's probably going to be available.
That's all going to be after the World Cup, though.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
That's
So,
too
with
late.
the World
Like
Cup.
the window starts
Uh-huh.
weeks before
Uh-huh.
the World Cup ends, so we can't wait that long. Like they're gonna have to name somebody maybe mid next month or mid May because you
I
want
mean,
somebody in before the window.
De Zerbi's still
And
out there.
yeah,
Glasner his stock has kind of fallen, but
De Zerbi isn't looking so great either, right? Like he's gotten ran out of the last couple places he's been at with his stock has plummeted. You know, he's a mid-team guy. Your Brighton level guy that makes Brighton look good until maybe Brighton doesn't have their superstar academy players before they sell him to Chelsea on the squad, and he looks great. And then when he doesn't look so good.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Yavi, you've got Zabi. Everybody else is tied up in World Cup. Tuchel,
Yeah.
Poach,
Tuchel's
Ancelotti.
signing a new deal. Yeah, new deal.
I don't know who else is out
Enrique hasn't signed.
Yeah, it's like
Luis Enrique might be top of the list for most people. Yeah, seeing what he's done at PSG and being managed a bigger club with some bigger personalities.
Yeah.
Are there any managers in the Prem you like, Ben?
Not of the ones that are going to come loose. I mean, and then you've got your bigger guys that aren't going to get pried away. You know, no one's taking Pep away. You know.
Well, we wouldn't want him anyway. No. He's kind of a fraud. Yeah. I call him a bald fraud. Yeah.
You've got what? Who's coming loose? Glasner?
Glasner is probably going to be leaving.
I mean, he already said he's gone, right?
Yeah, I think everybody would have liked him, until this.
He's free.
Few months,
right? Yeah, over the last couple months. I mean, Unai is always there, just sitting at Villa, making constant great things happen. I really don't have anybody else, I think, in the Prem that I think is great. You know who's out there? Who I've heard? Klopp is still out there.
No, thank you.
That'd be wild.
It would be wild. But I've heard his Red Bull thing isn't going well, and that might be on the outs. And I'm like, he might be out there, and it would be nuts.
He'll go international or Madrid or something. Yeah,
they might. Who knows?
Real Madrid. Carson, would you take your Klopp at United?
I mean, I wouldn't say no to that. I mean, I don't know why you're so cold on that. I mean, I don't think it's going to remotely. I don't even think it's a remote possibility. But the guy, look what he did with Liverpool, and look where they're at now. I mean, I think he would have success. But it's a tricky question, right? So I was really excited about Ruben because at least at that point, we know what we're doing, style of play. We know formation. We have a system. I want someone to come in here and bring a system that is readily identifiable, where transfers make total sense in terms of their position. That, to me, has been the biggest issue with all of the turmoil and all of the coaching changes. We've yet to accumulate cycles of transfer windows where you start to resemble a system and a team where you know what parts are needed. And I just want a manager, whether that's the Bournemouth coach, I know he plays an attacking style. I want someone who's had success in the Premier League, and if not, they have a distinct attacking style of play, or at least a style of play where you hold the ball and you just suffocate teams by keeping the ball the majority of the match. That is what I really miss, is not having any semblance of an identity. And so whoever that is, whether that's, I wanted Poach like literally 3 manager cycles ago, before, when he was still at Tottenham. Just what he did with Tottenham was really impressive in terms of the sheer amount of goals and the style that he had.
And we took ETH over him.
Yeah, I mean, I probably drank the ETH Kool-Aid at one point or another, but
we all did.
For me, if it's Roberto Martinez, I will boycott. That guy has a less than a 50% win percentage as a club coach. Hasn't coached club for 8 or 9 years now. It's been a long time for him. I can't remember the exact total of years it's been, but why he's popping up, I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the sheer lack of candidates. But who that is, like, sure, I would sign up for Ancelotti. Like, he's done it at a bunch of different places. Might be a little long in the tooth.
That's
kind of what I'm struggling, guys. Is like, there's no candidate that just says, yeah, that's the guy for me.
I think
he also not be Southgate.
Yeah,
exactly. No Southgate.
Better not be Southgate.
Perfect pick for them, because they're going to want, now that it's a head coach, no longer a manager, and they've taken away some of those duties, responsibilities that the managers used to have. They're going to want more of a yes man. They're going to want someone that comes in and is just there to manage the first team, and they're going to have input on transfers, but they're not going to make the final call like Ten Hag did with players, like Amram did with some players. But like, it's Christopher Vivell is kind of running the scouting now, and the Ineos crew is Omar Barada. Those guys are making the calls, and then the manager's not going to have as much say.
You're not
so.
a manager anymore. You're a coach now.
You're a head coach.
But we could look back at Ten Hag, and it was a disaster.
Right.
Yes. I mean, not at least at the recruiting was a complete disaster.
Yeah, he's a bad GM.
Exactly.
It's like
exactly.
How many times have you seen that in like basketball and stuff, where the coach becomes the GM and starts wanting the players, and it's a nightmare.
Or LeBron, just have a player.
Yeah, right. The player GM.
Back to your point, Ben, about needing to get somebody in before the World Cup. I'm not sure it's that important to them anymore, because they're probably already looking at targets, and they're going to say, "Here's what we're doing. Like these are your players, guy."
Yeah.
Whoever comes in.
That's a good point.
I think that's why someone like Ollie Glasner makes a lot of sense, or Southgate, even though he's been out of the job for a bit, he'll come in and just run point and do his thing.
I guess it depends on how involved Jason Wilcox is, because if he's the technical director, right? Technically, not to make that word work twice, but they're supposed to set your style of play. That's really their job, is to say, this is how this club is going to play. We need these types of players, and we're going to do this. We just need a guy who can implement that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's already in place. I mean, you could be right on that. That's a great point.
I think they have an idea. I mean, the last few buys have been good, and it looks to be like there's more of a plan in place than there have been previously.
It's better. That's for sure. I think there's still
everybody this year has been good. I mean, you talked about Mbeumo and Cunha already. Shesko's is starting to come around. Lamans has been great. So I think we went 4 for 4 on the signings this year.
What has stunk for me in that is Cunha and Mbeumo are both great players. I think they're really good, but we brought both of them in out of position. Cunha was technically in probably his best position in a formation that didn't work, because he's more of a 10 than he is where he's playing now. He's played left wing and 9 for us both. He's not great at either of those. He's more of a 10. But he's never going to get minutes playing there, because Bruno never comes off the field ever.
But he is good to have in waiting in the wings whenever potentially.
Yeah, but he's really expensive to be in the wings.
Do you guys want to hear the odds? Do you guys want to hear the odds of next coach?
Yeah,
Bet 365 has Carrick at 5-6, Julian Nagelsmann 6-1, Glasner 8-1, Luis Enrique 12-1, De Zerbi 14-1, Southgate 16-1, Unai Emery, who I like too, 16-1. Then it's Diego Simeone, Androni Iriola, the guy I mentioned at Bournemouth, and then Ancelotti's 20-1. Who? Let's go around the table here. Who do we want? Convince me.
If we're coming out of the Premier League, I'm picking Unai Emery, and then behind maybe Enrique. I think they probably have the best 2 resumes against everybody. I don't know. Nagelsmann
is he still at Germany?
Would intrigue me. Yeah, he would intrigue me. I just don't know if he has quite the resume versus. I mean, Unai keeps doing it at Aston Villa, which is a big club in England, but I don't know. I don't know that he has the squad or the backroom staff that United kind of does, and he's still getting the team up in the Champions League places, and he's doing well in Europa. So, and then Enrique, speaks for himself with his trophies.
There's one manager you mentioned there that I don't think it's going to happen, but Ancelotti is the only guy that's got the pedigree to coach United, that's been at big clubs and has won things at those clubs. Everybody else has done some things, but I don't think there's a name on there. I guess you lose Enrique, but PSG is not anywhere close to being the same animal that United is, and I think you got to take that.
He did it in Barcelona too.
Yeah, a little bit, but not for very long.
If there's a Phil Jackson on that list, it's Ancelotti, right?
Yeah, but I think I don't think he's up for. He doesn't want to come to United and coach the team and work on a project. And I mean, he's got a thing going in Brazil, and he'll probably renew there. But that's the only name that sounds like United caliber to me. I don't know, Carson. What do you think? Who are you picking?
I want a guy that hasn't been named yet and wasn't on those odds. Actually, is Thomas Tuchel, however you say it. The current England manager. I know he just signed an extension.
Yeah.
So did Nagelsmann at Germany, by the way. But if you look him up, I mean, he's coached at Borussia Dortmund, PSG, Chelsea, Bayern Munich, and at all those places, he won more than 60% of his games. He won 61 at Bayern, 60 at Chelsea, 75% at Paris Saint-Germain, which we know the French league. And then he won 63% at Borussia Dortmund. I mean, the guy's been at some big clubs.
Rumor has it that they held some pretty extensive talks with him before hiring Amram, and he basically took himself out of the running. I don't think he was too psyched about what he had seen or was told, maybe you have to cede some power here and there. And I don't think it seemed like something he wanted to do. So I would be surprised if I think he's great. I don't like to wear his baseball cap on the touchline, but that's a different story.
Well, he's done a good job with England. He's certainly, I think,
he's
doing a very good job with England.
What's the big rub with him, though? Doesn't he clash with upper management a lot, and that's why he ends up out?
Yeah, he usually burns bridges within about 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So,
and that's going to
happen. That's
happen.
what we need.
Yeah,
we need someone to come in and
if you want to win, though.
Win.
If you want to win, he can do it.
Yeah, it's a problem. I think that would look great, right? But even if they're winning, I wonder, with these guys. I think we've got big egos up top now.
Yeah.
Isn't that the issue? Like, what? You guys are in this every day, far closer than I am. Like, what's going on with the Glazers? And you mentioned Barada and like the guys who are now doing all the like, for someone who probably doesn't follow it as close, like what does this club even mean anymore as far as with the Glazers? And then now you got, the new owner coming in. Like, what's the hierarchy and what are the challenges there?
I mean, you've got Omar Barada, who's kind of Sir Jim's, I don't know, he's the
CEO, right? Yeah.
Justin Wilcox, technical director. Christopher Vavell's like lead scout or head of scouting or whatever. I don't know what his title is, but I don't know.
Glazers aren't really barely involved.
There's not a lot of guys that have been around United or have an idea, but they've all got great resumes. Although we had Dan Ashworth, who came from Newcastle, who had a great resume, and that didn't work out. So,
that was
painful.
Enjoy your buyout.
That was a lot of money.
I still don't know if there is.
Who's the Ineos guy? Not Sir Jim, his buddy, bald-headed guy.
Oh, he's already gone. The sport performance guy.
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Brailsford.
Yeah, Dave Brailsford. Yeah,
he's out.
He got left this summer.
I didn't know that.
The cycling guy.
Well, I think that's the level of
they only
we're
wanted
talking
him.
About.
Yeah.
Put him back on cycling. That's fair.
Carson, that's a great question. I wish I knew. Like, these are best in class guys. They've been around the block and they've done some things. And Barada, being a City guy, he's clearly experienced in the Premier League and knows what it takes to build a good squad. But I'll go back to that. I think United's a different animal altogether. And
he was the guy I got the most excited about when they brought him in. And I was like, I think that's going to be great.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just too early for us to know whether or not it was great.
It'll
be great when he goes out and gets an Erling Haaland for this team because he's the guy that did that, and we were all like, God, what a kid. He went out and did that himself. That was like a personal visit thing.
But it does seem like the Glazers have kind of stepped back and just been the owners, and now they're letting Ineos kind of run
and that was part
day to day the club and manage. And that was part of the deal of them. Of Sir Jim buying is it up to 29% now that he owns?
Maybe up to that
somewhere in there. Yeah. But it seems like that's like we said earlier, I think the recruiting on the player side has worked out. Mm-hmm. Clearly on the manager side, it hasn't.
Right.
And they got to figure that out come this summer.
They've got to get that figured out because they made 2 mistakes for real.
Speaking
of
recruiting,
already.
Carrick was quoted this week as saying that United would be looking for a new left winger, which is funny that he's commenting on transfers because acting like he's going to do that for sure. Manifest it, bro. Just go ahead and do that. But I don't know. What do you guys think our pressing needs are? If we're getting to Europe, which it looks like we will, we're going to need some depth for sure. Casemiro's going to be gone. Harry's out of contract. Malacia is out of contract. Not that I don't think anybody's keen on keeping him, but we need to get out of here. We're going to need guys. We're going to need some bodies for sure. So I don't know, Allan, who are you looking at? Who's going to be your left winger of choice?
I posted in the group that I really like Mane at Wolves. He's 18. He's real young. He's broken through. Every time I've watched him, including I think against Man City recently, I mean, they just couldn't get the ball off of him. I was really impressed. He's got some speed, tenacity. He's got some creativity. I think he'd be kind of a good addition, and he's already proving himself in the Premier League. I also like Rodgers. He doesn't always play left. He plays in a 10 sometimes for Aston Villa.
Yeah. Morgan?
Yeah, but I've always liked him. I even last season, I liked what I was seeing out of him. So I think he's another player that could be pretty.
Put an absolute wonder goal on us in that game that went.
He did. Just like, yeah, he did. He did. I think he's smart. He's fast, and he's also pretty powerful. I've watched a couple of Premier League defenders talk about Rodgers, just saying they surprised him, or they were surprised by him on just how quick and powerful he was. And I think we just need more physical athletes who are also, have elite mindsets. Like I think we're seeing out of the attackers this season with Sesko and Cunha and Mbumo. So we just need more players like that. But also, it's going to be a big window because we need midfielders, we need fullbacks, and we could also argue we need to go find, like we were talking earlier, an experienced striker. I don't even know that he necessarily needs Premier League experience, just somebody that can help show Sesko the ropes a little bit, just in general. Because we're going to need a little bit more than what Xerxes offering, in my opinion, for what we can't rely on Sesko for every match, especially if we're in Europe next season.
I think you're right. The midfield's going to need an overhaul for sure. And Casemiro, I think, is the one guy that people are thinking, how do we replace him with the season he's having so far? When you got a list of Baleba, Elliot Anderson, Adam Morton, Paul Scholes' favorite, Tonali.
Probably 2 6s, right?
Yeah, Bruno at Newcastle. João Gomez is on the list now. So there's probably 2 big midfield purchases coming, I would think at least. I don't know. Is there anybody in the academy we want to see? Or JJ Gabriel. Yeah, JJ Gabriel's 15. His name's popping up a lot.
What's the other guy?
Did you see his goals yesterday? Did you see JJ's goals yesterday? They were unreal. You should look him up.
Goals in 18 games for the U18s. He's a freak.
He's playing against kid 2 years older than him, and he is just hitting top bins from outside the box. He looks really
Who's
impressive.
the 6 on the U21s? Thwaite? What is his name?
Yeah, Thwaite.
I think it's Thwaite.
It's like THW.
Yeah, he's supposed to be really good. I haven't watched him yet, but I saw some stuff early on when Carrick took over. Some of the the Man United YouTube head guys were really pulling for Thwaite to come in and get some minutes, and they said he was pretty good. I haven't gotten to watch it, but
I want to see more Lacey too. I liked his cameos he made. I want to see more of Shea.
I like any winger that just pulls the trigger automatically, though. So that dude's that's my guy. I love that kid.
Carson, you keeping tabs on any players that you want to come to United? Any Premier League proven players you think should make the jump?
Yeah, I know there's a lot of talk about the left wing, and I want to bring up a guy that's getting a lot of smoke with Liverpool currently that I'd like us to see kind of go after. But for me, you have to go sign. Like Bruno is amazing, but he needs help, obviously, right? Well, for me, you have to control the middle of the park. Like every great United team, every great team in general, dominates the center of midfield. And to me, that's just been such a glaring issue. I know we got our hopes up for Baleba over the summer. He's really fallen off this year.
Yep.
But for me, go look at the engine rooms of the best international teams. Who's starting there? Go after those guys. And they're probably already at top clubs. But for me, you have to shore up the center midfield. I know everyone's really high on Elliot Anderson, who's done a good job with Nottingham. For me, I don't know who those players are. I think you could certainly go after Wharton, who's had a bit of a rough year as well with Crystal Palace. Those are 2 names that keep getting thrown around for a lot of the top clubs in England. But for me, while I would love to see us get a left winger, I know that's a top need. You got to shore up the midfield. Like you mentioned Casemiro. If he hadn't been a revelation this year, where is this team right now? Like no one thought he had this in him still.
Yep.
And so we're living on borrowed time there. So for me, you have to go get, I think, 2 dominant box-to-box midfielders, if not just a number 6, as you guys mentioned as well. That to me is priority 1, 2, and 3 for me for this team to get back where we're supposed to be.
I think
because you gotta have. I don't think Uarte's cut for this at all. So he needs to go. So we need a starting 6. We probably need a backup 6 behind that, and I think somebody's got to be there to relieve Cobby at the box-to-box 8 situation. Like I would say Mason Mount, but he's not able to get out there pretty much ever.
It'll be interesting for sure. But
talk about left wing. This is going to be crazy, but what about Anthony Gordon?
I mean,
he's tough. I like his attitude. He fights. Like that dude's ready to go all the time.
On my OKC pod I do with some friends from Skinnies, I trash Anthony Gordon. I don't understand the hype. I think he's a quick player, and I agree. I like his mentality. I've seen him in some interviews. I think he's got a good mentality. I think he's overhyped. I don't think he'd be worth the price tag.
Yeah.
And I could, but to your point, Ben, I could totally see United going for it because he's Premier League proven and he's English, and I could see that
happening.
happening.
Expensive
this summer.
He would be
Newcastle's
expensive.
in trouble this summer. They're going to get raided. People are going to start going after those guys.
So if you, Ben, if you could get one player from Newcastle, are you going Gordon or Tonali, or
I think
who are you going for?
Tonali's probably the best pick out of that. Because as I highlighted in the group the other day, people were yelling about Bruno G. You go pull that dude's stats defensively. If we're talking about putting him in place of Casemiro, he's trash.
Yeah.
He's better forward. Yeah. Like, he's their leading scorer this year. He's Newcastle's leading scorer. So he probably operates better further up the pitch. And if we're talking about replacing our midfield, defensive stopper, he's not the guy.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Tonali would be a great
he'd
pickup.
be good. I think he's been quietly really overshadowed by the big money number guys, Wharton and Baleba and stuff like that. And you've got this dude sitting here. You go, this is the guy's player right here.
Well, one guy I did want to touch on, and it's somebody that we it's our best player, Bruno Fernandes, and the rumors are swirling again that he's probably looking at leaving again this summer. I guess he was very close to leaving last summer.
It hurts.
He was basically, convinced by Ruben to stay, and I do wonder if the club is going to need to try and cash on him now. I don't know where the team will be if he were to go. He's the most creative player in the world right now, and just churns chances and assists and goals every game, and it's unbelievable the amount of games he plays without ever getting hurt. But there's a meme going around, and we talked about it on our last podcast, but I want to see what you guys thought. So the picture is Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes, Kevin De Bruyne, and David Silva all sitting, and Bruno's behind them. And it's who would have to get up for Bruno to sit down? Which of those five would you take out to replace Bruno? I think he's arguably our best signing since Fergie, and the stats he puts up, he's one of the best Premier League midfielders of all time. I mean, there's no other way around it. So those are five top quality players that won just about everything, except for Gerrard, never won the Premier League, obviously. Just love to get that dig in there. But who would you guys say gets up from that spot to give Bruno a seat?
Real fast, I also think Bruno should be up for Player of the Year this season. I think he's playing that well.
He'll be on the short list for sure.
And
is he better than Paul Scholes? Is he better than Steven Gerrard or Frank Lampard or Kevin De Bruyne?
They all kind of play a different position.
They're a little bit different, but still influential kind of creative midfielder types.
Who let David Silva in this meme, by the way?
That's funny, right? I think it's the obvious one, but he's so underratedly good. Like he was.
Is he?
Silva was really good.
Is he?
Silva was really good.
Is he in the ilk of a Frank Lampard and a Paul Scholes? Or De Bruyne even?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I would boot Lampard. I think Lampard popped up at good moments, but I don't know that I rate him at the same level as these midfielders.
Quietly very good, and it was a big part of that is Pep's first really good Man City team. I think Yaya Toure is probably the bigger catalyst for their success during that time if we're picking a midfielder. But David Silva was incredible.
I think looking at that meme, the thing that stands out the most is you've got a bench full of these dudes that are legends, and then you have KDB, who's recency. He's not he's still playing. He was at City for a couple of years playing really well.
Yeah.
He was a cast off from somewhere else, and it's just maybe not yet. Maybe a couple of years from now we'll go, yeah, that dude was one of the legendary guys. But it was right now.
I think I'm more disappointed McTominay didn't make it on there. Why is McTominay on there? I don't understand.
He's in the all-time Serie A.
This guy out of here.
Now. He's a Serie A player.
Yeah. I'm glad that guy found his place. I am.
Yeah. I don't know.
It wasn't in the.
When you're evaluating this meme, so De Bruyne's stats, De Bruyne's who I had a big red X through to start, and I looked it up, and his statistics are great, obviously, because he played in a much better system and a much better team than Bruno has. But Bruno reached 200 goal contributions faster than Gerrard and Lampard. De Bruyne got there 9 games faster, but I think you have to judge this in the teams that Bruno's played on compared to the teams that De Bruyne played on. What would Bruno have done in the situation?
Oh God! Imagine him
that De Bruyne
when
was
they were
in.
at the best of their best.
it's apples to oranges, and I just think he's such a better player than both De Bruyne and Silva for me. I mean, you look at the statistics, just the amount of goal contributions and chances that really the chances created from Bruno just blows those two out of the water. And he's actually better than Lampard and Gerrard were in terms of that metric as well. But I give Lampard a little bit more credit than Allan. As much as I can't stand the guy, he was a really good player, both internationally and at club level. But for me, it's you just look at either City guy can go very easily for me, and the way I look at it.
No one's giving the City guys credit.
I always
too recent.
I always rated KDB.
Great.
I just always really liked him.
He's a good player, obviously.
I'm
great player.
I'm not going to argue with anyone if they want to.
And
drop
if you look at De
Silva.
Bruyne too, like look at his career. Like he was at Chelsea, kind of thrown to the side. Went to Germany, was kind of cast aside there multiple times. Like it took him a while for someone to really, take hold of him like they did at City. And whereas at Bruno, he really bounced around Italy twice. He went on loan and wanted to go full time there with Sampdoria, but as soon as he came to United, he was just locked in. Like he did not bounce around nearly as much as De Bruyne, which I think says a lot about the quality of the player as well.
Well, part of De Bruyne and Salah's issue is they were coming up through Chelsea when Jose was there, and Jose classically does not trust young players; he trusts veterans. So part of the reason he got bounced was because of how Jose likes to run his club.
He also bounced around Germany though too. Like what did he bounce around from Werder Bremen to somewhere else?
Wolfsburg, I think.
Right?
Yeah, kind of bounced around there too.
But yeah. I think it is a good point, Carson, that Bruno comes in and was immediately effective in a bad United team and helped get us into a Champions League
Those
spot.
early Bruno seasons are.
And he did absurd, like Bruno did like absurd. Go back and look at his statistics at Sporting, like just off the charts, like unreal what he did in the Portuguese league before that too. Just every level he's been at just keeps. There was no like.
And internationally, he's good internationally too.
There was no stock going up and down like De Bruyne. It was this,
Yeah, his seasons here before they brought back Cristiano, his numbers are just absolutely bonkers. They're insane. And it's like Cristiano coming back took the ball out of his feet a lot, but what can you do?
Well, we're running a little short on time here, so I'm going to skip a couple of things. And no offense to the women's team, but they haven't played since we last talked about them on the podcast. But their next game is this Sunday, a week from today. They play Chelsea in the League Cup final. I'm not sure if it's televised. It's probably on YouTube, but you guys can check that out. The next men's fixture is also next Sunday the 15th. We've got another lengthy layoff since we are out of the FA Cup this weekend, and we're playing Villa, which would be it's a crucial match. I don't know, what are you guys thinking? What are you predicting under that? Villa's fallen off a bit. They've 4 losses, 2 draws, and 1 win since February 1st. Just I don't know if Europe's catching up to them or what it is, but they're sinking a bit. I don't know. What do you guys
had problems with that in the past, right? Like they just don't have the depth to carry a European schedule, right?
Yep.
Are we home or away?
Pretty much.
We are at home.
We're home.
2-1.
And they play in Europe. They play Europe League this week. They got a game Thursday in France, so they will
2-1 us.
2-1.
I say Rogers probably scared. Rogers probably gets one on us, but 2-1 us.
Yeah. Carson, you like that one? We're gonna beat Villa and just cement third place.
I'm looking up Villa's run of form. I know mentioned they're down. What have they done like their last 5? Do you have that pulled up?
They just got destroyed by Chelsea.
They lost against Chelsea, lost against Wolves, drew Leeds, got knocked out of the FA Cup by Newcastle. So it's like 2.
Yeah, they're way down form wise, and this game essentially is a 6-point match, essentially. And this is where you simply have to get the result here. Everything hinges on this game. You win this game, you are not a lock, but a virtual lock, I would think, for Champions League, which is so crucial to keep Bruno, 1, and 2, just obviously the finances involved, and really just that's where we belong. So I think this is a result that I would be not shocked or stunned, because we've kind of learned that can happen. The rug can get pulled out at any moment, but I would be really surprised if they didn't really control this match and win. I'd be very surprised if they did not.
Yeah. Allan, you taking United over Villa?
Yeah, probably 3-0. Okay. I look for a strong response, and I think Villa's been down. just haven't really found the form, and I think they'll probably be a little tired come the second half after playing in
We should
Europe.
get Mason Mount back on fresh legs finally, right? He's always next match he's ready.
Thank
Next
God.
match.
Can we get
Mount's
Can we
back.
get Leacha back?
Can Leacha come back,
same.
please?
Can we
Leacha-
get Leacha back?
I want to see DeLitt. Has DeLitt died? Like, I just don't
It's
understand. They're like, oh, it's a small setback.
He's the back. He's going to sit out because he wants to play in the World Cup. I bet
He's got him back.
But they brought it up in December,
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a small setback, blah, blah, blah. And then all these things keep coming up. And I'm like, dude, this guy cannot come back.
I bet we don't see him again, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'm going to say no.
Jan Diamande was who I was going to mention for left winger,
yeah.
by the way.
Yep.
I forgot to mention.
He's one I was going to mention as well. Yeah.
Quality.
Did you see in the top 5 leagues, only 4 players have attempted more dribbles than him, but he has a higher completion rate than any of them. You want to talk about someone that will just be running at people the entire game.
That's what we need to open up defenses. We don't really have guys that are super good 1v1 to unlock defenses. They can sit back and low block and we can't get by them. I mean, Ahmad is one of those guys. But
yeah, Ahmad's that guy.
I'm kind of talking. I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, though, because I like this kid, but he's a teenager, hasn't played in the Premier League, and then Morgan Rogers is sitting right there.
Yeah.
Fergie would have signed Morgan Rogers over this kid, but I'm kind of talking out of both sides of my mouth.
Well, and let's just close it up with predictions where we're going to finish the rest of the season. So we play Chelsea again, I think. We've got Liverpool, but the rest of the games on paper are fairly winnable. Do we think in top 4 for sure? Is the Villa game does it hinge on that? Or will that be a good?
That's going to be a big one.
Yeah.
I think EPL is going to get 5 spots in Champions League, right? So I'll say top 5. We'll finish in the spots to go to the champs.
Yeah, Carson, you feeling good about it?
Yeah, I feel really good when you look at who's chasing them. I mean, I just think we're in a really good position. I think we've solidified the back at goalkeeper. That was a primary need. And I think Bruno's the difference. I mean, as much as we talk about Carrick and what he's done with this team, I think Bruno's really done this mostly on his shoulders. I think he deserves more credit than Michael Carrick, frankly. Especially you look at that Crystal Palace game. He just said, "We're winning this. I'm taking this game by the scruff of the neck, and we're winning." And I think Bruno's the difference in this team, and it's the difference I think that'll make us finish third. I think when you have a player of his caliber, those players get results. And I think really sometimes it's as simple as that. So I really expect Bruno to take us home to third.
Allan, we're going to finish the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think third or fourth. I think Villa will kind of drop out. They may end up finishing 5th, but Liverpool have found some form. Chelsea have rebounded pretty well from their loss recently. But I think the Villa, how the squad responds to Villa will be really telling. But I expect them to respond well. We only have one competition. Like, these guys should be well rested. I would like to, like we were talking a little bit earlier, recent form has kind of shown we're not showing as much urgency as we'd probably like, maybe as much effort as we'd like. Hopefully this loss will kick them into kind of a higher gear, and they'll what do we have? Just 9 left? 9 games left? So hopefully they end the season with these 9 games left, just kind of giving it all.
I think third.
I suspect we'll be through third or fourth.
Third looks good. I'll take that. Yeah, right on, guys. Well, we'll be back at Skinny Slims for the next match on Sunday, March 15th at 9 a.m. Carson, Ben, I appreciate you guys jumping on for the first time. It was great chatting with you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
Guys.
Let's talk again when we're deep into the transfer rumors.
We'll do a summer
I gotta get my Ronaldinho fix like the old days.
Right on, fellas. Well, as always, thanks for listening, and until next time, come on, you Reds.
Let's go.
Up the Reds.